as though she's some dirty thing when you know what you were brought from.
We was young 5%ers, feared by many, heard the black man was God and it put something in me. I'm 14 with the mind of a 40-year-old man, with plans to awake my people, so I took command. I went from Chad to IBorn, the leader was born. Told everyone around me, my team was strong. But little did I
Phenomenal. Peace and blessing, my beloved,
Yes,
beloved IBorn, the legend himself, Big Arsonist. Man, I am honored and blessed to be here with two literal legends of our culture and what we do as our people, man.
Right.
And in this art form, you all came together and made something historic. Now, I'm not, you know what I'm saying? I'm a fan, right? But I'm also your brother.
Yes, sir.
But when I listen to this, I was honored when you asked me to sit down to talk to you all about the album, because I don't really keep myself around people that I'm just not a fan of personally.
Right.
But brother Chad, brother IBorn, you know what I'm saying? When you hit me and I did a drop for you,
Right.
you know, I was like, man, who is IBorn? I said, yo, IBorn is that aspect of the Almighty of energy, pure energy,
Right.
that gives you what you need in order to take what you're doing to the next level. Anytime I talk to you, bro, that energy that you bring and that you bring me takes me from where I'm at and brings me up
Yes,
10 and
sir.
7 notches. Like I
and
can't
it's in the
stay
music.
regular. You know what I'm saying, Us?
And it's the same for me.
Come on,
When
bro.
he come in the studio, it's the same energy. And I tell him this all the time. Like, I could be having a day that ain't going too right.
Come on,
and
man.
IBorn walking, he's smiling from ear to ear, and he got this energy that's on 1,000, and I'm forced to join him. You know what I mean?
Bro.
Like,
Praises due to
so
Allah.
it translates through the music too, I think. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And that was the main thing, was to keep that energy in the music.
Right.
Actually,
And I think we did that.
Absolutely.
I know, I listen to it, I can see that's what y'all did. Now, going into this album, right? Going into this album, Born Again.
Right.
Starting off with the title. Now I know we got a track we're gonna get to in a minute.
Right.
But I gotta ask you all, because just going, you know, as I was going and doing research,
Right.
I didn't realize how much a part you were of my coming up. With the Diplomat and the ant, like I'm like, nah, what you've done and sonically and with music set the tone for my childhood,
I
bro.
appreciate it, man.
Like, and I'm
That's
sitting
crazy.
there like, wait,
That's
I didn't.
crazy. And I want you to know, it's like, it's humbling for me to hear that, because no matter how many times I hear that from different people, it still bugs me out, because
Wow.
I was just a kid from the Bronx making music in the basement. So to hear you say that, that's like, it's an honor for me to hear from anybody.
Yo,
You know what I'm
God.
saying? So thank you.
And it's so real, man. You're more than welcome, man. And so when we go into this album, brother Chad, Born Again.
Right.
Yes.
Born Again.
Born again.
What does that mean to you?
You know, it means that I had a second opportunity,
Come on.
a second chance to be born again
Mm.
through music.
Right.
You know, through trial and error, I had the opportunity. Allah blessed me with a second chance where I was born again mentally, spiritually, where I was able to give something to the people that I never gave them before. And that was me manifesting my Islam in its purest form in music over these powerful beats that my bro gave me.
Come
dog.
on, bro.
You know what I mean? So,
And that was a question I always wanted to ask you, bro, because you know, you coming from Mount Vernon, your style, your flow.
Yes, sir.
You know, when I began to really listen, not just to the current music, but the music from before,
Right.
I'm like, my bro could go any way.
right. Yes,
He could
sir.
go any way.
Indeed.
Right.
He could hit you with the flash, talk about the bread, the money, the shit. We could go into the fit, the
All
Louis.
that.
We could do all of that.
Police.
You know what I'm saying? From your history and the time that you did, we could go straight street and just go that direction.
Right.
Right.
We could go straight your history with the God bodies and that we could go that entire history. But where you are now as a Muslim follower of the teachers of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad under the direction of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, that's the direction that you chose with this new beginning.
Right.
That's deep,
And it's
bro.
all intentional. I want
Come
people
on.
to understand that, like, nothing on the album is by mistake.
Mm.
From the song arrangements to the skits to the features, to everything was well thought out. Was conversations going back and forth between me and IBorn, like, maybe this should be the arrangement, maybe this should be the feature on this song. maybe we should put the skit here. Like, you understand? Like, everything is intentional. I don't want
Right.
people to think like we just threw things together.
Right.
Everything down to the number of records on the project. Everything is intentional.
Yeah,
Everything.
Everything was mathematics, and the greatest part was, when we sat down and I was like, yo, maybe we should do a project together. You know how honored I was
Wow.
to be like, yo, my bro, the Heatmakerz, arsonist, not only producer, but we developed a friendship and a brotherhood
Right.
that he believed in what I could do and what I could be. And he foresaw all of this. He's like, I'm telling you, bro, like, yo, you got to do this. He'll tell you in the beginning, I was real hesitant.
Right. Okay.
I'm telling you,
Okay.
we was right in that room.
Yeah.
He said, yo, what are you doing? And I'm like, what do you mean, what am I doing? He said, yo, like, bro, you, and then like, he really, he drove it to the point where like, I could do this.
Right.
Like, he really made me
the
believe.
answers were right in front of his face. You
Right.
understand? It's like me getting to know IBorn, I learned what type of person he was. And to me, I needed the music to match who I knew.
Wow.
You understand? Like, what I heard before was great music.
Right.
But in my head, it wasn't the person that I learned to know over the course of a year and a half. And you understand? So it was like, we got to make music that directly describes you and where you're at in life, or where you were in life.
Right.
All of that combined. And that's what this is.
Now, because of your catalog, you've worked with everybody.
Right.
You've worked with the underground. You work with those on top of the charts. You can literally sit back, go through your Rolodex, and choose who you want to do projects with.
Right.
When it comes to you designing these beats and sitting in the lab with the brother, why IBorn in this time?
Because it was different from anything else I was doing. Like, it gave me a direct path as to what I needed to do.
Wow.
You understand? Like, a lot of the music I gave to IBorn, it wouldn't really fit with a lot of other artists. Because I can't describe it to you. It's like, I know we're gonna go into, but perfect segue, like a record like Brother that sets off the project.
Right.
That record, and he'll tell you, that record was like, I probably made that beat a day or so before IBorn heard it, and it couldn't have went to nobody else but him, because he fit the whole feel of that song is IBorn. Like, that song is an IBorn record, whether you like it or not.
No,
you know what I'm
that's a
saying?
fact.
So again, everything just happened like divine timing. You know what I'm saying? Like, he would walk into the studio a lot of times, and I would have a beat in the beat machine, and he might hear a glimpse of it. Like, wait a minute, now I need that. What's that? Play that again. You know what I'm saying? And that's happened on multiple occasions. So it just lets me know that me and him were in tune for the whole making of this project. You know what I'm saying? So again, it had to be that way.
Man.
A lot of the records, it just had to be. It worked out at the perfect
what
time.
my man Nas said, it was written.
That's a fact.
It
You know what I'm
definitely was
saying?
written. It was written, and it was like I said, when he did the Brother beat, like, here's one thing you got to realize about Arsonist and the Heatmakerz, like, his whole style. Like, once he locks in on you and he studies you, he creates the music for you, right?
Lord.
So he know everything that I could do. So he created the beat, like I told you. Like, this was the first time Arsonist applied pressure to me to do a record. I'm telling you.
Wait, somebody applying the pressure to IBorn?
No, bro, listen to me.
Because here's what you
That's different.
Here's what you gotta understand too. Because this is what people don't understand. Up until Brother, we had did 3 records before Brother, right?
Okay.
So I'm used to IBorn getting a record and calling me the next day like, yo, listen to this. This is crazy. And he wasn't doing that with this record. So in my head, I'm like, yo, what's happening? You know what I'm saying? Because again, he got me accustomed to a certain type of way he delivers music.
Right.
And he stopped that on the 4th record. I'm like, yo, what's happening?
Like,
so that's why I was on him. I'm like, yo, this is a dope record. What's up?
Yeah.
I know you could write. You rap every day. Like, what's up? But I felt like in his brain, because this was our first song off of our project, he applied more pressure to himself than necessary. That's what I feel. I don't know.
Tremendous amount of pressure.
Right, and I feel like as we got deeper into the project, the verses started to quick. You understand? Like, I would give him a record or whatever it is, and he next day like, yo, I got it. Listen to this.
And I'm gonna tell you. So this song, that opens the album, right? This song opens the album, sets a certain tone.
Right.
What was it? Would you say, before we even go to the intricacies, what was it what was either holding you back, or what was the pressure that you was feeling when it came to this brother track? Because this brother track is different.
Nah, it's super different. And that's one thing I say about like arsonist forces you to rhyme a certain way. So the way that I'm used to rhyming, like it was challenging into a sense, like, how do I attack it? So you hear the sample, right? And I'm like, and he'll tell you, I was like, yo, should I go such and such, brother? He's like, nah. He said, yo, just be you and just talk. I'm like, okay. About a week went by. What's up with that beat? What's up with that brother joint? I'm like, I'm getting it. I'm trying. And, and then I finally got it. I said, yo, I'm ready. You know, like we got this thing with us where once I get it down, I hit him up. I text him like, yo, beloved, I've received glorious revelation.
That's his exact words.
That's my exact words. And from there, it was off to the races. And when I came in, it was like.
And you got to remember, in my brain, if we start off at that pace, we'll never finish a project at this pace. That's what I'm thinking. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, nah, we got to. Like, we all professionals here. Let's work.
Right.
You understand? Like, if this is what we do, there's no need to. It shouldn't take 2 to 3 days. Not saying people might disagree with me, but to me, once you catch a vibe, you just go. You don't overthink a vibe.
That's a fact.
You can't. You know what I'm saying?
And that's what happened, Ty. I think I was overthinking the vibe.
Okay.
And like I said, the beat. When you listen to the song, brother, the instrumentation. The bass line, the sample.
Right, it's different things going on.
It's a lot going on. So as an artist, you tap into a certain sound frequency and then you catch it and you ride. With this joint right here, I was chasing it. It was like every time I get it, boom, it shift on me. But then I locked in.
And I gotta tell you, bro, as just a fan, right? When the song opens, you hear the voice of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan.
My Lord.
Right.
And he sets a tone. Now I gotta ask you, when you chose that, how did the choice of that particular clip? You talking about a man who's been on the front line for our people and the world for over 60 years.
Right.
He's got clips upon clips. He's got quote. He's Mr. Quote. Everybody quote the minister, whether they give him credit or don't.
Right.
What was it about that clip that set the tone for the song and that you all wanted to open the album?
He picked perfect clips, by the way, so I can't take credit for the clips. Like all the skits that are on the project, it would be IBorn sending me different clips. Like, yo, I think we need to use this. We should put this before this. So when it comes to that, I can't take any of the credit when it comes to that. That was IBorn.
So you know, we on the gram all day, man. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is all over social media. Praise be to Allah. Thanks for the Nation of Islam and just the supporters of the minister. So just constantly on the feed, I'm like, I would just DM like, yo, what do you think? What do you think? What do you think? And then, you know, I told him and he put it together. It's just incredible to work with him because you just know something great is going to happen.
And I think that opening piece is so powerful because it brings Farrakhan back down to earth in the sense of like, you can view him as a human because of what he just said. It humanizes him where you're like, okay, like he thinks like how we think as far as like, you know, like, why are you looking crazy at those people for?
Right.
Like you didn't come from that at some point in your life.
And man, and I'm gonna tell you, cause we, you know, offline we had a conversation. Right. Cause I remember when we was first talking about the album, you was like, man, brother, if you got a thought about the arrangement and where songs at, you know, I like feedback. Give me feedback. So I'm listening to the album coming over, and I'm hearing the second track. I'm like, man, maybe the second track should be first. And you was like, nah. And then when you broke it down, and I'm sitting here thinking about what you're saying, I said, man, you know, my background's in engineering.
Right.
And anytime you approaching a troubleshooting activity, you gotta start off with your problem statement. And so when I'm thinking about what you're saying, I'm like, the minister gives the problem statement. You walk by your brother.
Right.
Like let's get right to the meat and potatoes out the gate.
Come on.
Let's address the problem out the gate. You understand? That's what we did. And if you look at the way we even set up the second track, not to go into that, but the way we set up the second track, it's almost like we press reset.
Right.
The skit starts and we started all over again. And now
what happened.
After we gave you what the problem is, now it's like let's get into it now.
Right.
You understand?
And that's exactly what I felt. But it took me to really go at the minister say, go
now,
to the quiet
I guarantee
place.
you, if you hear the project with brother any place else, it don't feel right to you. Trust me.
Right.
It won't feel right to you.
No, I mean, that's why you got to trust the scientists at hand.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
I just like, just you know, it was all his guidance from the jump. He was like, yo, we don't know what's coming next, man. But right now, this joint right here, yo, this sets the
Bro.
tone right here. So.
And I tell you, when the minister starts off with that problem statement, is because when you study the minister's history, we know when he was the minister over Muhammad Mosque number 7 in New York, he used to leave the mosque after speaking hours upon hours, giving counsel to people. He would walk the streets, the heroin addicts, their hands were swollen from shooting up. He would go shake their hand and go greet the people. And that's why he had the love of the people like that.
Right.
So he's talking to us saying, you know, brother, you walk past your brother.
Yeah.
And you don't give them, you walk past your sister.
Right.
And then when we hear you come right behind the minister, and it sounds like you are talking to that brother and pleading to him, yo, come get me.
Right. Yes,
Save me. And then you give that hit. Yo, talk to us about what you was reaching for.
Oh, you know, I was just reaching
in those songs. In that song.
I was reaching for me. You know, I wrote that looking in the mirror at myself. And when I heard the minister say that, and I'm like, wow, which better way to talk about myself and my trials and what brought me to that. And after I heard that, I just wanted to just talk about my upbringing in the 5% Nation.
Come on.
And my walk, and how at one point, once I heard the black man was God, it blew my mind. You know, my mother was, as we say, a staunch Christian. You know, my dad was low key, but, you know, every Sunday morning you hear Mahalia Jackson, and if I said her name right, and all the other...
nah, you said it right. That's
and the other Christian Baptist, you know, artists. And when I heard I was God, it took me somewhere mentally. And I said, I really want to tap in and find out how I am God. Because as a child, you know, if you're raised in a Christian household, you believe that God is a spook. But then you telling me I'm looking in the mirror at God? So I really wanted to study more. And it got to a point where the study became great. And I started to teach everybody around me. But that power kind of drove me to a point where now I really think I am that God. And that's when things went left in my life. And I wrote about that, you know, just trying to teach people, and the same people I'm trying to teach, I started fighting them and beating them up, but yet and still I'm God though.
Wow.
And my mother's trying to talk and I wouldn't listen, and just going through the whole science, and my dad trying to talk to me, and me just
broke it
rebelling.
down perfectly.
I broke it down,
You broke it down perfectly.
Next thing you know, I'm somewhere I shouldn't be, all because I didn't listen, or because I found out I was God, but didn't understand the science of me being God.
And who starts off a project talking about their faults?
Come on.
Out the gate. There's power in that, in vulnerability.
Yes, sir.
You understand? And to me, to start your project like that, that's powerful to me. I'm going to let you know what I think was wrong with me, or what might still be wrong with me. I'm going to let you know out the gate. That's dope to me. How many artists do that?
Come on, man.
You can't find too many that do that.
And people are scared to do that.
Of course.
And just, you know, what you touched on, Brother Chad, you know, I heard the minister say, will without faith, will without knowledge is power without direction. So as you talking about, you know, this should consume me.
Right.
So you got this knowledge, but you don't got the proper conduit, the proper direction on how to utilize that knowledge.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? One of my favorite movies is X-Men First Class, where they learning they power.
Right.
Right. And you see Cyclops, he had his this was before he had his shades or whatever you call them.
Right.
Right. And he would open his eyes and cause destruction.
Yeah. That's always been my theory, though, is that we're like, as musicians and creators, we're superheroes. X-Men, if you want to call us that, in the sense of we all have different powers, but we don't necessarily know how to use it right yet. And over time, you learn how to use what is your power for whatever way you want to use it. You understand? But you understand how to use it at that point. A lot of us have the power, don't know how to control it or use it yet inside of this industry. So I always compare, you know, creators to superheroes because we possess that power, but up until a certain point, it's uncontrolled power. You know, but...
And, you know, for Cyclops, he met a Professor X.
Right.
He met a Professor X.
He made a Professor X.
He met a Professor X,
Yes, sir.
right? That taught him the knowledge of who he was.
Right.
Gave him the tools that he needed in order to hone that power.
Come on.
Bro, Chad, IBorn, who was your Professor X, bro?
Come on, man. I mean, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is my Professor X, you know? That man teaches you how to lock in on your target and don't miss. And don't miss. And I thank Allah so much for him. that I'm just proud to be, you know, in the Nation of Islam and under his guidance and his leadership.
Come on, man. And I know we spent a lot on this first track because this is powerful and it set the tone. But it was something that we talked about that, you know, you talked about that interaction with mom, right? Interaction with dad. And what I saw from it, of course, you're speaking from a 14, 15-year-old young man who's learning himself. But what I saw from that was, as a parent, you're showing the other side of the mindset to a parent. Like they can listen to your words and say, damn, that's what my son is going through. That's what he's dealing with. That's what my daughter's dealing with.
Right.
And then you gave the parent a perspective that they can't see. They just see the turbulence.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So what kind of guidance do you feel like you can give to the parents that's seeing their young ones who's coming into themselves, learning themselves, but they don't exactly know how to approach it because they might be of a different lifestyle than they've raised them in.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
You know, in a situation like that, you know, it's a teachable moment to really understand that your child could be going through something. You really can't tap into their psyche or understand that, right? Because our parents would always say, you know what, I was 14 once, but you were 14 in a different timeline.
Oh,
So when you were 14, my dad, when you were 14, you were shooting at the Ku Klux Klan. So when I'm 14, I find out the black man is God. So it's a whole different mindset. But to understand that your child could be going through something like that, and through a rhyme, it could give you a jewel on how to treat them or diagnose whatever problem that they're going through.
Man, phenomenal, bro.
Indeed.
Phenomenal. So we're going to get into this next track.
Try to be a better example for the adolescent. Learn from my mistakes. It's lonely upstate. Focus on being great. Strive and elevate. The system is designed for us to